Welcome. What is up? Welcome to the Mixer. I am your host, RC. I am not joined by my co-host, Jeff. We had a scheduling conflict today. Happy Friday, everybody. It's been a wild one. It's been a wild one. A little bit of audio issues trying to get this recorded earlier. The good news is we're getting to the point where the lack of tech that we have and this kind of budget setup we have is starting to affect us. So we are now above the I guess entry level equipment. So I suppose that's a positive sign. We're trending in the right direction. Anywho, help make our show better. First of all, thank you for listening. Do not forget to like and subscribe to any of our podcast feeds. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. You see my lovely face, my flowing mane that continues to defy defy my desire to be presentable. Um, it's getting pretty bad. But hey, I'm fully vaxxed now, so maybe it's time for a haircut. We'll see. I'm growing quite fond of my middle reliever look, and the pitchers and catchers are about to report. So maybe keep it going for the brand through spring training at least. But yeah. Anywho, our feeds again, any podcatcher, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, all that. I already mentioned YouTube. All our social channels at FC Wine Mixer. You know the drill. You know the drill by now. Looking for a little more interaction. So I mean, follow us there. Hopefully we'll put out some good content for you here. And yeah, thank you again for listening. As always, one more thing. We have our survey. Check the show notes. If you're listening to a podcast, there should be a link in the show notes. If you got a mobile device, you're listening on your phone, just click it. It'll take you right there. Fill it out. Let us know what we do well. Let us know what we don't do so well. Hopefully we can get this thing better. And yeah, really hoping to get a new laptop here and hopefully get some editing, get some clips on our social channels. That's really what I want to do. Little bites of this, little highlights. Try to draw some more people in. As always, we start with tilts. My tilts this week. I'm going down the rabbit hole. I've been incepted. I took the orange pill. I had been dabbling with some Bitcoin stuff. I am full send as the kids say. Full send on Bitcoin. In a little heavy. So things have been going, pretty well. I learned about it. I did some research, and by research I mean I listened to like 8 podcasts now. So I mean I'm pretty much an expert, right? But anywho, it's been yeah. So anyway, consuming a lot of that content lately. It is a deep rabbit hole. I will tell you that. I will tell you that for sure. But if you've ever, considered it, what is this cryptocurrency thing? I do suggest looking into it. It seems to have some solid fundamental ideals behind the need to come up with a more a currency that will work better for the times that we are in. So, anywho, I'm not gonna sound like a crazy person here and get too much into that. However, I do recommend doing your research. I think there are some smart moves to be made on that front if you put in the time. Next tilt, somber note. Rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer. We had known for a while that he had been battling Alzheimer's, and he passed away this week. I believe he was 75 or something. Not sure of the exact age. I apologize. But winningest coach, well, not winningest coach, but he coached the best Charger team was it the 2016, 14-2. So yeah, that was a great year. That was his last year. That was the last year he coached, was that 14-2 season. Tough to believe that he never got another job. Who knows what could have became of him if he would have continued on with the Chargers. I mean, I'm not going to rehash everything. Has a problem with the general manager, AJ Smith. He wanted to, yeah, I mean, as I'm going to rehash, he wanted to bring his brother in as the OC, right? After Cam Cameron left, how'd that work out for you, Cam? So yeah, anywho, great guy, emotional guy, the kind of that old school football coach, high T for sure. So, yeah, not much else to say. Rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer. It's been a, I mean, it's kind of appropriate, but that whole era of Charger football is completely moving on. I mean, it's sadness obviously for Marty, but we've had Philip Rivers retire as well, and well, I mean, did he officially retire? Now I can't even remember. He's expected to retire. I don't know if there's been a formal. No, he did retire. I just see him on. I am very deep into best ball already. So he's still on the ADP, but yeah, I remember he announced a retirement on Inauguration Day because of course he did. Anywho, so Rivers retiring, and then if nobody's driven by the stadium lately, again, this is San Diego centered, but I mean, all that's left is the scoreboards. It's really started to completely be ripped up in the past few months. So it is sad. It is kind of appropriate that the stadium's being, torn down bit by bit, kind of agonizingly slow. Kind of represents what it's like to be a San Diego sports fan. So that's it. It's just that whole era of that Charger team and the runs that they had with Rivers and LT fully coming to an end. So next week, I'm hoping that gonna do a show just centered around that. I mean, just events that happened at the stadium. Hoping to talk about some of my best moments that I've spent there and the best sports event, or actually any best events. So concerts, freaking monster trucks, whatever you can think of. If you know of great events that happen at the stadium, please submit. I would love to talk about that. Some of the more obscure stuff we all know about, when the Chargers came back from winning the AFC Championship game against the Steelers. We all know about Darren Sproles' walk-off touchdown in the overtime. We all know about LT breaking the touchdown record against the Broncos. There's a lot of things that we all know about. I would love to hear some of the other stuff. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I have a few in mind. A few that I was there for or, remember watching that maybe people don't remember. So please submit those. If you have those, send them my way. I would love to talk about them. Really excited for that. Let's talk about the stadium next week. Special spot in my memories. Some of my best days and nights were spent there. No way around that. All right, let's get into this week's content. Of course, Sunday was a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55, Tampa Bay. First home Super Bowl, which very, very straight-laced CBS broadcast crew didn't even mention, which I bet on them mentioning. So thanks for that, Romo. Always coming through for me. But oof, man. Oof. I was heavy on the Chiefs. Oof. Bad, 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 bad. So Brady's the GOAT. I mean, there's no way around it. Seventh title, more than any team, more than any franchise. He now has more Lombardi trophies than any NFL franchise, which is just wild. Patrick Mahomes, turf toe, no bueno. Although he was still, not for lack of trying, just didn't have that extra step, I suppose, hitting receivers on wild scramble drills. I mean, he was running for his life. But yeah, I was surprised how limited he was based on his performance against the Bills. If you recall, heading into the game, I picked the Bills to win in the AFC Championship game because I thought his toe was going to be an issue. Didn't seem an issue, so thought, what do I know? And didn't think it was going to be an issue, but now apparently needs surgery on it. So that's just how it goes. Maybe the cold weather in KC numbed up his toe a little bit more, or maybe just playing on it in the AFC title game caused him to be more limited. Who knows? The offensive line was banged up too. That was clearly evident. And the Chiefs just were never able to get into rhythm. They've had rough starts to games, but yeah, Tampa Bay got the momentum going and it just couldn't be stopped. Ronald Jones did pretty well. Fournette did pretty well. Brady was definitely serviceable. Gronk, 2 touchdowns. Not a Super Bowl for the ages, despite me telling my wife before the game, this is going to be a great Super Bowl. Yeah, freezing cold takes. Glad they weren't listening on that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A verbal meme, real quick. Navigating coming up with content for the Super Bowl on top of is like ... and that's superimposed on the Weeknd in the House of Mirrors meme. Yeah. That performance was that performance was not the best. Bless me. I thought it was overproduced. Man, really need some editing gear here. Struggling. All right, we're gonna get through this. But yeah, the Weeknd. I love the Weeknd. It started out with my favorite song by him, Starboy, right? The music video is fresh, as the kids say. I think he's in a McLaren driving around. Anyway, yeah, but I don't know. They were limited to what they could do with COVID and that sort of thing. Maybe it's just different without a huge crowd there, but yeah, a little disappointed. Definitely was no Shakira J-Lo from last year. Yeah, or Prince, the goat, halftime show. YouTube was pretty good as well. Anyway, enough about the Super Bowl. Last thing, is this Brady's last title? I was going to pose this question to Jeff. 43. This is the first one that it feels like it's not. So maybe that's the simulation doing a deep fake on us. And now this will be his last one, or at least that's what I'm telling myself, because I'm tired of watching Brady in Super Bowl. Like, just go hang out with Giselle in freaking Tahiti. Just go away. Stop being so perfect. Yeah. Judging by the way he was partying on the yacht Super Bowl party, maybe he doesn't recover from that. Too many avocado martinis. So, yeah, Brady, how about just chill out, bro? Just chill out, please. Go back to Michigan and just ride out your days. We'll see. We'll see. Hard to imagine it. I mean, hot seat Bill Belichick, right? He let Brady walk. So clearly Brady still had stuff in the tank. There were talks that it was an unhappy relationship between the two of them towards the end of the year, or towards the end of his tenure there, Brady's. So yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering. I mean, I'm gonna say here first, another disappointing season for the Patriots. Do we start getting those Bill Belichick hot seat rumors going? We'll see. I suspect so. Not sure there's quarterbacks chomping at the bit to go there. I believe that was open last year, and a lot of these names that we're going to be talking about free agency were kind of rumored last year. Anyhow, we'll get into it. Really excited for free agency. We got we'll get into that a little later here. Touch on it briefly, but first, wanted to move on from the Super Bowl 2021, or excuse me, Super Bowl in 2021, the 2020 season in the books. Only 2 games moved because of COVID. I think there was 1 game moved to another week, and maybe we had like 3 or 4 pushed back. But I mean, all in all, I wouldn't have expected them to pull it off. But you know, they found a way. Whether it was within recommended CDC protocols or not, they got it in. They had games with fans, and it's the NFL, so supposedly there was no on-the-field spread. I don't know how much I believe that, but yeah, I mean, we got football. We got our football. We got it wrapped up. I got my trophy. I got my fantasy trophy. As soon as I get my placards on there, I will be sharing that. I just want everybody to see it in its full glory before I start broadcasting with it. So let's move on. Let's move on to baseball. Baseball is coming is around the corner. Pitchers and catchers report the 17th. So guess that's 10 days from now. What day is it? Oh man. Oh, Valentine's Day this weekend. So that makes it the 12th. So next week, pitchers and catchers report. It's been that kind of year already. And we had our kind of our last big deal. Trevor Bauer lands with the Dodgers. So the Dodgers realize Potter's knocking at their door, go out and get the best free agent available. Bauer becomes the highest paid baseball player ever year over year. The total contract isn't the highest paid, but he's making like $40 million a year. So great pitcher. I did see he tweeted out, "Leave me alone, Dodger fans. Don't bother me." So clearly he's loving LA already. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. LA's big media spot. He's been playing in smaller markets, I said not so convincingly. So anywho, we saw him fire the ball over the outfield when he was in Cleveland. So we'll see how he does. Yeah, I'm looking for those battles, those wars between the Padres and Dodgers. It should be fun. Alrighty. And the Padres got their reliever today, Mark McClellan, who I can't remember who he was closing for, but yeah, Padres got him. So we got our closer, just in time. Yeah, more to come on baseball in the weeks ahead. Other thing I wanted to talk about before completely, pivoting back to the NFL, I suppose, after briefly touching on baseball, the NFL awards were announced the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, your MVP. Aaron Donald, defensive MVP. Herbs, rookie of the year. We were on Justin Herbert first. Check out our Twitter profile. I tweeted in August that Justin's Herbert spiral on Hard Knocks was the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, we're taking credit for that. And Helix High School's own Alex Smith, comeback player of the year. Lots of calls on Twitter for the trophy being named after him. He had a really nice acceptance speech message. Ended with "Just live," which I liked, from a guy who nearly died because of the injury he suffered on the field. Pretty wild. Again, I mentioned it here before. If you have access to ESPN Plus, watch Project 11. It is a documentary of Alex Smith's path to recovery. It's really inspiring stuff. Took a team to the playoffs, competitive-ish in the playoffs, but I think he came out in the playoff game, and that's when Heineke went off. But hey, I mean, for what he went through, hell of an accomplishment. Gotta tip your hat, and I hope we see him back, even if it's a backup role. I hope this doesn't spell the end for him. Congrats to all the NFL awards winners. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers is MVP, fully justified. I think I heard something like 17th straight year where the league MVP will not win a Super Bowl. So that's pretty impressive. But yeah, we'll have to see what he comes back with next season. A lot of, and speaking coming back next season, this offseason is going to be, I've been having a hard time lately with, I shouldn't say hard time. First world hard time, right? I mentioned my brain was broken after the world stopped in March and April when there were no sports, and then baseball picked up. Padres were great. There were Formula One races like every week, and then that rolled right into football season, and then we kept having COVID postponements for football games, so there were midweek games. So it just felt like every night my favorite sports were on, and now once the NFL playoffs started and Formula One ended and all that, it's the doldrums. We got baseball coming back up, but yeah, I feel like that blitz of sports kind of broke my brain. Fortunately, this off season, me and Jeff were on it last year. Some of our last episodes of the straight to YouTube stuff where we were kind of just practicing doing this. The lost tapes, as I call them, because we recorded like 3 episodes that didn't actually record. But most of those were about NFL free agency, specifically quarterbacks. And this year seems even more spicy. Let's just go through the teams here. So the Chicago Bears might be looking for a QB. Mitchell Trubisky's contract is expiring, and Nick Foles didn't exactly work out. I know there's Carson Wentz rumors there. Dallas Cowboys, Dak is an unrestricted free agent, still not signed. The Denver Broncos, Drew Lock, he ain't it. Elway's still looking for his QB. Detroit Lions, they just let Matthew Stafford go. They're getting Goff, so I supposedly that one's full, but they could always draft a QB. The Colts, Phillip Rivers, retired. Jacksonville Jags, nobody there, right? Expectations is they will draft Trevor Lawrence. However, Lawrence needs surgery. It's going to take him 4 to 5 months of recovery. So we're looking at June, July before he's going to be back, right around training camp. Does that change Urban Meyer's strategy? Raiders, Derek Carr, they could cut him. It would save $20 million if they moved on from Derek Carr. The Patriots, Cam Newton didn't work out, so that's a free square. It's open. The Saints, Drew Brees expected to retire. I don't think he's made a formal announcement yet. They got Winston there, who looked terrible in his start. I knew he didn't start, but he came in when Brees got hurt, I believe, and they ended up going with Taysom Hill, who looked okay. So that spot's open. The Jets, they have Sam Darnold, but he hasn't done much. They trade Darnold to get Wentz. The 49ers, if they move on from Jimmy G, they'll save $23 million. And the Washington football team, they gave up on Haskins. Alex Smith isn't long-term. I believe they picked up Heineke's tender, which is like $1 million. So certainly have more room for a quarterback salary. And if we look at the names out there, we have Cam Newton, Dak Prescott, and Trubisky are all impending free agents. Trade or cut candidates, we have Derek Carr, Darnold, Nick Foles, Jimmy G, Haskins, Locke, Minshew, Stafford, Wentz, and first-round picks, we're looking at Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson. This list doesn't even mention Ben Roethlisberger, who may or may not be back. Shaky performance last year. He's the last of that Eli Rivers draft. So lots of openings. And then on top of that, we have other. I'm just going to focus on the offense, but we have a lot of big name, especially wide receivers. This wide receiver market is it's the best I can remember. All free agents: Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, who I've heard is expected to be franchise tagged, Will Fuller, Juju Smith-Schuster, Corey Davis, Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton, Curtis Samuel, Nelson Aguilar, and Marvin Jones Jr., all free agents. Running backs: Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, and James Conner. Tight ends: Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Gerald Everett, and Gronk. And on the defensive side, who cares, but Richard Sherman, Jason Verrett, and Jadeveon Clowney, among others. So I'm looking forward to talking about free agency. We're going to have more on that. Really excited to see where some of these wide receivers wind up. We're going to have more content on that in the coming weeks. Don't worry. We're not done talking NFL. In other news, Formula One, Lewis Hamilton signed with Mercedes finally. Shocker. On a more somber note, Fernando Alonso, last night, I believe, it was announced that he got in a cycling accident. Cycling somewhere. I knew the country earlier. Belgium? I can't remember. He was cycling somewhere, got hit by a car, broke his jaw, had to have surgery. Apparently he's okay, fully expected to be ready for the start of the season, which is, I believe, testing starts in March. It's always in Spain. So rest up, Fernando. His return to Formula One. Rejoining the Formula One grid from being with Toyota last year in their sports car Le Mans effort. So get well, Fernando. Saw him at Desert Trip, which is Old Cella, with Paul McCartney, Roger Waters, and The Who, and Neil Young, and The Stones, and who's the other guy? Bob Dylan, which I didn't care for. But yeah, face to face with him, and I'd have been in on, because apparently that's a Coachella thing. It's the only one I've ever been to, and it gets all freaking dusty. And I came face to face with him, and my eyes just got huge, and I scared him, because he's walking around the U.S. probably thinks nobody's recognizes him, and he could tell I recognize him. He dipped real quick. Yeah. Anyway, that's a hilarious story. I totally froze. So, yeah, that's this week. Short one. not much to talk about with the Super Bowl. I mean, it was a great season. I'm looking forward to it. I'm already on underdog drafts for next year, best ball league. So if anybody wants to join one with me, let me know. Let me know. It's fun. Yeah, get those draft practices in. I mean, if you play with me, you're playing against a champ, so better. It'd be a good way to prep, right? Get my thoughts. Steal my ADP. Who knows? But yeah, thank you for listening. We're gonna have the stadium special next week. So please, if you have, I'm especially looking for the obscure stuff because I kind of know all the major especially Padres and Charger stuff that had happened there. But if you have like concert memories or that sort of thing, big events that have been there, the Billy Graham, he was there once, right? I just remember seeing the signs everywhere. Yeah, obviously, I mean, that's not going to make the list, but maybe it's a joke. It will, like it just did. But yeah, send them my way. Send them my way, please. And yeah, just like I'm going to send Patrick Mahomes some PF Chang's. By the way, there's clips on. Well, I saw on Twitter real quick before I get out of here. Apparently he had some kind of negative comments about his offensive line and his receivers not being where he expected them to be during the game. I mean, I think the little 15-second clip I saw on Twitter, which, I mean, real thorough research here on my part, I think he still had his shoulder pads on. So, I mean, it's right after the game. You can't, I heard, but some guy on Twitter was saying, oh, throwing his teammates under the bus. So, I don't know about that, but I am if I were a Chiefs fan, I'd be a little concerned about next season because of the way that this one kind of wound down, and especially, I mean, I didn't even mention the terrible, terrible story about the car accident before the game with the Chiefs assistant coach, who I think his name's Eric Reed, Andy Reid's son, who I believe, if it's the same son, had problems when Reid was the coach in Philadelphia. He has since been fired, essentially. I saw some technicality where they stated his contract is expiring and they won't be extending him or something like that. Just say you're firing him. But yeah, I put a little girl in the hospital, drunk driving. So, yeah, really, really, really tough story there. Haven't heard that mentioned about how it may have affected the game, but hard to imagine that it didn't, right? So anyway, obviously the weight of all that hanging on Andy Reid, the head coach, the team, and just the way they went out last in the Super Bowl. I mean, if I were a Chiefs fan, I'd be worried about the next season. It might be a hangover season. Oh, fuck. That was unintentional. Making a drinking joke about. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was jokes. It's just a reference. But Jesus, don't cancel me, please. There's not much to cancel. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for now. That's my insight. But yeah, Chiefs fans, we'll send you some PF Chang's, some lettuce wraps, some dynamite shrimp. That'll soothe your sorrows a little bit. We'll make the pear mojitos, but we'll make them virgin pear mojitos. Pay respects. Jesus, I'm going to hell. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Toodaloo! God, that's what I get. Toodaloo! Okay, that's enough. We'll cut that.